Having a second passport is a great way to increase your options, whether it's more investing, more travel options, or just having citizenship insurance so that you're not a slave to one country and whatever happens there. Now, you can pay full price for a second passport, or you can take advantage of what I call call options on second citizenship to get a deal. I'm going to tell you what I mean in this video. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson. If you'd like to learn how Nomad Capitalist helps 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs legally go offshore, reduce their taxes, get second passports, and go where they're treated best, those are our 5 magic words. Go to nomadcapitalist.com. So, second citizenship, okay? If you go and you Google second citizenship, you will see a lot of companies that do what I call the McDonald's approach to, here are 5 countries with palm trees, pick which one you want. They've got Caribbean citizenship by investment programs, or they'll sell you a European golden visa that leads to citizenship in a couple of years where you make an investment and you later get a passport. Those are what I call commoditized programs, and they work for some. If the idea of living in Portugal works for you, then having a Portuguese residence permit and working towards Portuguese citizenship is great. I'm not opposed to those programs. In fact, I recommend them all the time. But for folks who are already getting one of those second passports and want a third passport to build their portfolio, for folks who aren't in a hurry or don't have as much money or just want something that's a deal, what I talk about is second citizenship call options, okay? And what I mean by this is, imagine that you moved to Singapore 25 years ago, okay? Took a couple years to get permanent residence, and then pretty soon thereafter you could apply for citizenship, okay? Now back then, not everyone was moving to Singapore. It was still a pretty good country back then. I remember a family friend who went to Singapore in 1996 and told me how amazing it was. But it wasn't on everyone's radar. It wasn't the brand name that it is today. And as we've been talking about a lot recently, you know, countries are brand names. Every country has a brand. Are they Coca-Cola or are they RC Cola, right? And so Singapore is now a brand name to where you cannot easily become a Singapore citizen these days. I know so many people in Singapore, they can't even get permanent residence, right? And so why is that? It's because the country really no longer needs them. And so your time to get a call option on Singapore has gone away. The good news is there are plenty of other countries out there. You know, we're always looking for the next Singapore, the next big thing. There are plenty of countries out there that have room to grow and are still accommodating people who want to come in. And so basically the concept is, again, if you go to Portugal, for example, you're going to pay full price because Portugal is part of the European Union. They already have a lot of things they can offer to folks. And when you consider that most people who are doing these immigration programs are from China, from Russia, from the Middle East, where their passports aren't as good, and they want that great visa-free travel, they want to send their kids to the schools, they want the healthcare system, the European Union countries, well, I still think there are some deals there. They're priced accordingly. Okay? Singapore is priced accordingly. It costs millions of dollars to get in there as an investor. It's difficult to start a business and get in. The rules are a lot tougher than they used to be. The first thing that I would look at if I'm looking for a call option second passport is one that has average visa-free travel now. So if you go and look at a map of visa-free travel, you will see countries where maybe they can't go to the European Union right now. Or, you know, maybe just for whatever reason their visa-free travel is limited. But the country is moving in the right direction. Angela Merkel said a year or two ago that there are a couple countries on her list that she wants to push for them to get visa-free travel to Europe. Okay? She said that before about Georgia, about Ukraine, and it happened. Georgia and Ukraine got visa-free travel to Europe. So if you've got a country that's on the track to getting that visa-free travel to Europe, right now that passport may not look very good. But if it takes you a couple years to get that passport, or even if you can get it right now and you've got to wait a couple years, that passport will go up dramatically in value. And so you might only need to go and invest, $25,000 or $50,000 in the country. And, rather than making a donation to a country like a St. Lucia or a Dominica that already has that visa-free travel, you can go and make an actual investment, whether it's in bonds or in real estate or starting a company or whatever. You're going to have a lot more flexibility. And then later, your passport turns into a pretty good passport. I've watched a number of what we call Tier B passports improving. Okay, visa-free travel is really getting better for a lot of countries. Now, if your passport is Chad, that's not getting better. Okay, so there are certainly some have-nots. But for the countries that are kind of in the middle right now, the fastest growing passport a couple years ago in terms of travel privileges was Serbia. They've been adding an incredible number of countries. They got access to Europe about 10 years ago. They can go to the UAE, they can go to Japan, they can go all over South America. I mean, it's a pretty darn good passport, Serbia. And nobody would think Serbia is that good because they can't go to the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. That's about it. And they have a number of countries that citizens of, like the US, cannot go to, like Iran and Russia and China. That's a pretty good passport. 10 years ago, it was nothing, right? And now it's good. So one thing I just want to suggest to you is, look at the future, look at the long-term perspective, okay? I was talking to a guy in the citizenship business a couple years ago. He was mentioning some possible citizenship options in Haiti, okay? This is what we geek out on. We just talk about the citizenships you can get for fun. Turns out there's really not an easy way to get a citizenship in Haiti, but that's not a passport I would bank on improving, okay? Nobody's fast-tracking Haiti to come to their country and to get visa-free travel in the near future. But there are passports, in countries like in Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and elsewhere where they could be getting better. Another thing that I want you to consider is countries where they may be joining some kind of association or some kind of alliance in the future. So next to Serbia is Montenegro. I've got a summer home in Montenegro. They now have a citizenship by investment program where you make a donation and you invest in some real estate. You get a passport in a matter of months. I'm not in love with the program. I don't know if it's the best deal. But what I do know is if access to the European Union is important to you, it's a call option. Now, the call option may expire worthless, but Montenegro has been very clear that they're pushing towards ascension towards the European Union. And if any country in that Balkan region is going to do it, I think it will be Montenegro. They already use the euro, although informally. And so, right now, Montenegro at a 100,000 euro donation plus an investment is a lot cheaper than Malta's program, which is already in the European Union. That's a 650,000 euro donation, plus you've also got to make different investments. So you've got a 550,000 euro delta, basically, and that delta is the price of the risk that you're taking on the call option, right? Now, I don't know that European Union citizenship is the be-all and end-all for everyone, especially if you already have a good Western, Tier A passport. But if you want a European Union passport, or at least want the chance, Montenegro is a very beautiful country. They've got a decent passport. Again, they have access to Russia. It augments Western passports a little bit. And you can save a lot of money and bank on the fact that maybe they'll join the European Union. Albania came out recently and said, hey, we're thinking of doing a citizenship by investment program. Now, they kind of walked that back when Europe is like, maybe we don't like that so much. But there are opportunities like that, okay? Turkey has a citizenship by investment program. I would not put any money at all on the fact that Turkey is going to join the European Union, but that's a call option, and that the country itself is simply growing. The standard of living is growing. There are opportunities in the country. Certainly, Turkey has fewer opportunities that a Westerner would want than, let's say, a country joining the EU. But everyone has a different, definition of a call option and what they're looking for. Other unions and alliances around the world that are interesting is, CARICOM. The citizenship by investment countries in the Caribbean are part of CARICOM, the Caribbean community, and so you can move between them. You've got greater flexibility to move between them. There is a possibility to, live in a tax-free country if you're a member of CARICOM, and so there's certainly some call options available there. African passports, the African Union has said they're moving towards visa-free travel for all the members across Africa. I'm not sure how sustainable I think that will be, but you are seeing some African countries open up more to other African countries. And so occasionally someone comes to me and says, Andrew, I want total travel freedom anywhere in the world, right? I got a citizenship by investment through Comoros, small country in the Indian Ocean. And so if I'm already seeing a few very minor benefits of greater visa-free travel through Africa. And so that is a call option that may not be that useful to a lot of folks. But if you plan on traveling in Africa, or if you're doing business in Africa, or you want to do business in Africa, that is potentially interesting. You may see the African Union open up and be more like the European Union, to where one African passport would have residence privileges or business privileges, or maybe advantage to buy land. You see in the European Union, there are a lot of countries, or some countries, where you either can't buy land as a non-EU citizen, or you've got restrictions. So you might see something similar to that in Africa, where you'd have the ability to live or work or do business or invest in countries. Even if you're not a citizen of that country, you'd have a leg up by being a citizen of another African country. Mercosur in South America already has great travel privileges, where if you're a citizen of a South American country, you can travel throughout the other ones. They may do something similar. ASEAN in Southeast Asia, rather loose association, you may see more privileges there. Now, some of these call options, they certainly may expire worthless, as in Montenegro never joins the European Union. Quite frankly, that would make me want to have the Montenegro passport more. I don't know that I would want it to join the European Union. I like it as it is, but you may have a different perspective. One citizenship that I've been asked about once or twice is the Cambodian citizenship. We'll talk about that in another video. It's not really a citizenship that's easily acquired. But the reason people are interested in it is because only citizens can buy all types of real estate, including land, agricultural land, ground floor properties, etc. And so if you're looking to buy up a ton of land at theoretically low prices, you could become a Cambodian citizen to do that. And that's actually why at one point there was a tier system where Chinese citizens had to pay the most, because they were most worried about the Chinese and coming in and buying up all their land. Other countries, like in Central Asia, Uzbekistan is a market that I'm watching. They have limitations on what foreigners can buy that, in my mind, make the most interesting parts of their real estate market unavailable to foreigners. Now, I don't know how to get an Uzbekistan passport or whether it's worth it, but theoretically, a call option is if you had citizenship in a country like that, you could own property on the ground, and then if they ease those restrictions, your property prices would go up. If you were a citizen of a country that joined the European Union, generally we see that property prices go up substantially in the first 3 years of that joining the EU and the Eurozone. Okay? Especially in the Baltics, we saw that 50 and 60 and 70% gains. Some of those call options may expire worthless. I mean, if you got this theoretical Cambodian passport, they may never open up foreign ownership of real estate or of land, and you just may have this land. You'd still maybe be ahead of the game depending on your goals, but the idea is to think about the possibilities of second citizenship and where you are going. What are your reasons for having a second citizenship? Is it a plan B? Is it a safe haven? Okay, in that case, it should be a place you wouldn't mind living. Is it a financial diversification tool? Are you looking to expatriate? Is it your only other passport, or is it one of a portfolio? Are you looking to invest, to do business? What are your goals? Are you willing to have a little bit of patience? And so there's a price for everything. And so for me, if I can go out and make that $25,000 investment in some country and get on the track to a passport that's okay now, but 2 or 3 years from now is going to be really nice, kind of like the Serbian passport became, that's very intriguing to me. And for a lot of folks, it's going to be more intriguing than going and investing 350,000 or €500,000 in Portugal and waiting getting that passport, especially if you already have a Western passport. So no one person has the same citizenship needs. We help people that we work with all the time, figure this stuff out, and we walk through a lot of scenarios and help people with doing this. Just have a couple guys right now. They're doing 2 or 3 passports each to kind of fill in all of the gaps and to take advantage of this. But do consider these passports that are not, tier A amazing passports right now, because I think they have a lot of opportunity. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, Get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.